A very good day to you. Welcome to Professor Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. If you're here for the first time, I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora, who founded the channel. Prof, we're speaking today about the political succession that will come after President Uhuru has left office, and the conversation that has been brought by the Nyandarua governor. Francis Kimemie says deep state will play a major role. It has been playing a major role when it comes to succession that will happen come 2022. At what point should we start seeing the deep state getting into the politics, or will we even not see it?
You know, a deep state are shadow figures. They don't put on uniform, so you are not going to say you see them with uniform, yellow or red or whatever it is.
Oh.
They do their things behind the scene. But remember, Kimemie also said, it is in situations where there is a near 50-50, so that they tilt the balance in favor of a candidate. You can't be moving at 30% and the other guy at 70% and they give it to you. So, well, we can't say, maybe they're already working.
Will they change the dynamics of political leaders, because you heard him say about them trying to support Musalia Mudavadi? May they change the situation of a political aspirant come 2022?
That was not deep state. These were a few hangers on around State House who thought they could make Mudavadi president. But the deep state was behind Uhuru.
But he said that they were not behind
These
Uhuru.
are small fellows around State House. And we
particular
know
time.
them, and they know themselves. Yeah, Kibaki was not part of it. Kibaki knew very well the power was going to Uhuru. Yeah.
So at what particular time do they come up, and how do they shape up politics of succession?
You know, in most countries, and I've said even including places like the Vatican most likely, there are people who for some reason have an interest in the direction things take in a particular country. Okay?
Yeah.
These formations sometimes take long. They are informed by history of a country, they are informed by tradition and many other forces. And for that reason, they vary from country to country.
Oh.
And normally they have an interest in the country. You can find, for example, some deep state in some country might be worried that we are a communist country. If we don't take care, these new people who are coming to power like Gorbachev, and they could destroy communism. And indeed, for example, that's what Gorbachev did. There are others who believe in a certain form of capitalism, crude capitalism like America. They fear if some other rascal came to power, he could shift that. And they have an interest in ensuring, sometimes it's even the military, serving and retired men and women of uniform, wanting to maintain a certain status quo, a certain political culture, certain economic culture. So, but in small countries like us, it's about raw power, to ensure power remains in certain hands.
Oh.
You know, these are people who have perhaps acquired wealth, they control business, and they want to ensure whoever is at State House in Nairobi does not upset the status quo. So they will always be interested in who becomes president and who remains president. So they support the president to remain president. They ensure there are no radical changes that can bring upsets. So this is how a deep state will work in a place like Kenya.
You know, even as we continue with this conversation on succession, one thing that the deputy president has been saying is that he doesn't need the system. Oburu Odinga, the brother of former prime minister, said the only reason why they have been losing, even though they have votes, is that they didn't have the system. Should Ruto now be able to claim that it won't work in 2022?
It is tricky. Any serious Kenyans agree that the 4 elections Raila has run, he has won clean at least 2 of them, but he's never gotten it. And therefore, Buru will be justified to say the only explanation was they never had the system. So if the system is behind them and they continue their winning, then they'll be they'll go to State House. Ruto, on the other hand, is also right. As an insider, he knows how this deep system works. Perhaps, and I want to underline the word perhaps, he may be thinking he knows when he doesn't know. But he's been an insider. Perhaps. If there was rigging in 2013 and 2017, it could not have happened without him knowing. Oh. If deep state was involved in robbing Raila his victory, and Ruto was a beneficiary as a deputy, there's no way he may know. He could not have known. So now, speaking from that position of knowledge, maybe he knows how he can counter.
How he can beat the system.
Yeah, they throw the Scud from Iraq and he has the patriot to intercept the scud. Maybe he knows.
Will it work for him as it did with someone like Donald Trump or Barack Obama, who came in even though the media and the system are not aligned with them?
You know, sometimes the deep state or any system, they see the wind is so strong, you cannot control it. Sometimes you now join the wind to manage it without controlling it. You get it?
Yeah.
So you see, the deep state try to control, to prevent Trump from being president. Yeah. They couldn't. They had not imagined. Not many people could believe that Trump would beat. Even he began sending signals when he won the nomination of the Republican Party. But even up to then, people didn't see him beating Hillary Clinton. You remember everything was prepared, including the physical glass ceiling. She was going to physical. It is a metaphorical thing, but it was physical. It was there. Nobody in their right mind would have thought Trump. So the system in that case failed. But they came back last year and ensured he could not win.
Now, could this also reflect in 2022, Ruto becoming president, even though
the
now
system is against it? It is possible. It has happened in many places. Except, and I want Kenyans to listen, 2002, those who think the system failed are wrong. They are damn wrong.
Those that thought Kibaki will not become president.
Kibaki was a caretaker president, intentionally put there by the system to prevent radicals from taking over, because they needed to process Uhuru Kenyatta to become president, which he is today. So if anybody is citing 2002, they are lost.
So sometimes it can be a long game.
It's not sometimes. It's always a long game. It's always a long game. People like Obama are fitting into the scheme. That how come the dialectics of the American system and way of doing things, you are the most liberal, yet even backwards countries have produced women prime ministers and women presidents. Even religious Muslim countries have produced prime ministers. You, a country at war, produced a woman prime minister, Israel. And you, America, the leading superpower and the leading democracy, you haven't. So it was about time they either put in a woman or, even better, a black man. So Obama is a beneficiary of those kind of things. He should not think he talked himself to the White House. So in 2002, and I asked Kenyans, do you think Moi was a fool? Our professor of politics, the one and only one. Since Moi left the scene, we have since agreed, almost all of us, he was better than any of these fellows. Vitu naona kina Uhuru wanafanya, Moi angefanya. We would be smarter than them. Do you think Moi could not have seen that Uhuru would lose? You think he was that daft, that naive? All Kanu needed to do was fill Saitoti. Nobody would have, even Kibaki would not have stood against Saitoti. How? Who would have stood against Saitoti? Who in this country? In his right sense. Only jokers would have stood. But a serious candidate would have known the moment Saitoti is a Kanu candidate, you are wasting your time. If they thought it was because Saitoti was a Kikuyu, half Kikuyu, of course he was my friend, was a Kikuyu and things like those. Somebody could say, maybe, let's not give a Kikuyu, okay? Let's give another car. They gave Mudavadi, a young boy. He will still have one. Why Uhuru? Everybody knew Uhuru wouldn't. So it is part of the scheme. The long game was you prepare Uhuru from the rough guy he was, young, rough guy. Free living, and he knows there are serious things waiting for him, like Bush. The Bush was also just like Uhuru. He had to be prepared to be. You told America is waiting for you to be president. Stop some of these funny things you are doing. So that is it. And even today I tell Kenyans, the same thing. Why Raila is going to be a beneficiary of the deep state? Not because they love him. They just want him to play the role Kibaki played.
Now, let's come to 2022 and still speak about the president. Yes. Some say he's holding the keys to State House and he'll be the one giving them to the next president. Will Raila become president simply because he is supported by Uhuru, as people are calling the head of the system? Yeah.
Uhuru has the key to the State House. Without Uhuru's support, you cannot win the president. You cannot go to a ballot and win and become president of Kenya next year without Uhuru saying you will. We are wasting our time. So people are just joking.
Even after people say you cannot demand, you cannot command who become president, he still will be.
In the next 6 months, I've told you. In the next 6 months, wait and see when that Mount Kenya you are talking about. You'll see how Uhuru will all sway. He will direct things on the mountain. Forget about, without Uhuru you can't be president. The only way Ruto can be president. And the Ruto knows it. And sometimes Ruto, I suspect, is sharper than these guys. When he says he's ready for them, they think he will fight the system. No. Ruto can only become president through a movement. A movement, revolution like.
There's a time you said it is the narratives that will shape up politics.
Yes, and that's how he came up with that hustler thing.
Oh.
A movement that makes people drunk. Watu wamelewa, yani akili they are only singing Ruto and hustler. They are singing that they want to, ukisimama mbele wanapita na wewe. That's the only way he can become president. But vote at all, he's running against Raila. He can get more votes than Raila. From where? He would not. He would not.
The system will change
not
everything
even the
for
system.
Raila.
The system will influence people to vote for Raila. Not that the system will still vote. The system will concentrate on Mount Kenya. If you have been observant of late, look at the kind of people who are now behind Raila. In the next 2 months, there will be nobody in the Mount Kenya region who matters, who will not be with Raila. They are all now, you met any serious Kikuyu, from business, from church, from everywhere. Tell them they are with Raila. So the system is working slowly. Uhuru is working slowly. In the next 3, 4, 5 months, there will be no Kikuyu of repute, a notable person who is not with Raila. Already almost all of them are with Raila. All the political leaders, religious leaders, business leaders, all of them are with Raila now. Meet any serious Kikuyu.
For DP, it's about a revolution and nothing else.
He cannot win unless there's a revolution. The revolution I'm talking about is not this kind of revolution or violent things like in Sudan. No, Egypt, no. I'm just saying a strong movement that borrows strongly from revolutions. An irresistible push by the people to own their country through a leader. And that leader is, say, William Ruto. It's possible. But to beat Raila in the ballot, how? He cannot. He cannot. And in fact, not even 40%. Raila will get 60%.
What should we anticipate in the next couple of months before the elections are held? What should we anticipate from Raila Odinga, Ruto, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the Oka leaders? What do you see happening in the country?
Many things, but let's just cite one or two. The first one is that all these people calling themselves Oka will go behind Raila. As sure as this is day and a few hours ago was night, these people,
even Musalia was on TV saying he would do it.
Musalia Mudavadi, they will all support Raila. One also, like Mudavadi, may prove stubborn, but they will ignore him. The bus will go without him, and he will remain in the stage looking irrelevant. That's one of the things that will happen. The next thing that is going to happen is you will see the mountain fast getting divided. Not in the manner in which people have been suggesting along parties, what? No. Along age.
Age division.
Yes.
Generational division.
People who are of my age, people who are 50 and above, they are going to go with Uhuru very soon. You'll begin to see. You'll go to church and you see all elders, they are all talking about Raila. That's the next thing you are going to see. It will quickly be followed by some regional moves within the mountain region. So, some part of the mountain being more Raila than the others. Not 100% Raila, but significant Raila, 40%, 50% than others. Maybe Nyeri more, maybe, Mount Kenya is like that. And by the time we move into March, April next year, around the time of nomination, the worst that can happen for Uhuru and Raila is they will get 50% of the mountain vote. The worst.
And this for you said is going to be horrible on DP's
for Ruto
side.
is gone. And I want to repeat what I've said before.
Oh.
Ruto can only win the presidency if he creates a movement, an irresistible movement. That way he can win the presidency. But as far as voting is concerned, Raila, wanahesabu Raila, Ruto, Raila. At the end of the count, Raila will just be a few points shy of 60%.
60%. Your predictions.
Oh, not prediction, that's a fact.
That's, of course, you said it's not scientific. Until we have these conversations again, my name is Jadiel Kabiro. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. These conversations will continue until the elections happen, and we'll be able to see who succeeds the president once time is up. Until we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day. Professor, thank you so much.
Thank you too.